Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Razia and I'm here to help you make better skincare choices. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure you follow me over on Instagram and TikTok as well. We're all familiar with retinol, right? And all the benefits that it has for the skin. If you've heard about the benefits of retinol, then I'm sure you've also heard about the downsides of using it as well. And hearing about those downsides and some of those potential side effects can be really daunting for those of you that are wanting to get started on your retinol journey. So today I'm going to go over some tips that you can use to start your retinol journey. These tips will really help with minimizing the risk of you developing these side effects, and it just makes it a little bit easy for you to incorporate into your skincare routine. Some of these side effects that you might be wary of, first and foremost, we have the purge, the dreaded retinol purge, and then you have some other side effects including dryness, peeling, irritation, and things of that nature. The purge is an interesting one, but it's not just limited to retinol. You could experience a purge anytime you use a skincare product that contains ingredients that speed up your cell turnover. So this includes exfoliants like AHAs and BHAs and retinols as well, of course. So basically what's happening when you're using these ingredients that's speeding up your cell turnover, it's bringing up a lot of the underlying blemishes that were already existing under the skin to the surface a lot faster and all at once. So it can be a little bit scary to experience if it's something you weren't expecting or something you haven't experienced before. Thankfully, purging is temporary and it's really short-lived as well. It shouldn't go on for more than 2 to 3 weeks. And once the purge is over and done with, that's it. You can enjoy the nice new skin underneath. Although it is normal to experience a purge when using a retinoid or when using exfoliants, it's something that really can be avoided, or you can really minimize the extent to which you experience this purge. Using the tips that I'm going to share in this video really lessens the extent to which you experience any of the side effects that comes along with using retinoids for the first time. So that includes purging, includes the dryness, the peeling, the irritation, all of that. Tip number 1 is simple enough. Start with a gentle retinoid product. Retinoid is the umbrella term that incorporates all different classes of vitamin A skincare. So these are things like retinols, retinaldehyde, tretinoin, all of that. If you're unsure of what I mean by the term retinoid, I've got my retinoid video guide up here for you. It makes it really easy to understand this whole concept. Basically, you have your over-the-counter retinol products and then you have your prescription-only tretinoin. Tretinoin is the strongest, most intense type of retinoid, and then your over-the-counter retinols are in varying strengths. And typically you'd pick your retinoid based on which skin concern you're addressing. So if you're younger and you want to look into retinols to help with your acne, then you want to go with something that's just an over-the-counter retinol that's quite gentle to use. You don't really need anything too intense for this. If you're older, you have more mature skin, or you're wanting to go after the anti-aging benefits of using a retinoid, then you might want to go for something stronger, or you might even want to go for tretinoin as well. Regardless, in any case, whether you want something low strength or whether you want to go for tretinoin, if it's your first time using a retinoid product, I'd recommend using a very gentle one to start with. Yes, tretinoin is amazing and has great benefits for the skin, but if it's your first time using any retinoid product, I would not start with tretinoin. I think you'd be better off starting with a lower strength over-the-counter retinol first, just to get a better understanding of your skin's tolerance to retinoids, and then you can work your way up to using tretinoin eventually. Gram-active retinoids are my personal favorite intro product. They're really gentle and user-friendly and a great way to incorporate retinol into your skincare routine. I've used gram-active retinoids a few times to treat my acne and it's done an amazing job every single time. Does not disappoint. The first one that I recommend is the Ordinary's Gram-active Retinoid Emulsion 2%. And the second one I recommend is the Boost Lab Retinol Renewal Serum. Another great retinol that I think is a great option for those of you that are younger and want a retinol to help with acne or with improving uneven skin tone is the Sulfless by Hyram Retinol Serum. And the last recommendation I have is the SkinCeuticals 0.3 Retinol Night Cream. The SkinCeuticals one I wouldn't use if you're wanting to use a retinol for acne, but maybe if you're wanting to start using retinol for the anti-aging benefits, the SkinCeuticals 0.3 is a great one to start with. So following on from tip number 1, where it's all about easing your way into using retinol, my second tip is to incorporate retinol into your routine slowly. Starting slow really is the way to go when using retinoids. I'd recommend starting with 1 to 2 weeks to begin with and do this for about 4 weeks. And after 4 weeks, you can assess, see how your skin's doing, if it's tolerating it well, and then maybe you can consider adding another night and building it up to 2 to 3 nights a week. And then keep it at 2 to 3 nights for another 4 weeks or so. And really you can stop there if you want. You don't really have to be using a retinol every single night to get the benefits of it. Using it just once, twice, 3 times a week max you will see the benefits of the retinol in your skin without having to use it every single night. It does come down to your personal preference and your skin's tolerance as well, of course. If you find that your skin can tolerate incorporating more nights of retinol per week, then go ahead and do that, but don't feel any pressure to build your skin up to using it 6-7 nights a week, because really, it's not necessary. You do get the benefits of using retinol even if you're using it just 3 nights a week. Personally, I've been using SkinCeuticals 0.5 retinol for quite a few months now, coming up to almost 6 months I think, and the first 3 months I was only using it 1 night a week, and I've only recently started using it twice a week. And I'm very happy with keeping it at twice a week for another few months as well, and then eventually I'll work my way up to 3 times a week. Don't feel any pressure to incorporate retinol every single night of the week because it's not necessary. I've been enjoying the benefits of the retinol without getting any bad side effects because I'm not pushing my skin beyond its limits. So by easing your way into incorporating retinol into your routine, first by using a gentle retinoid product, second by only using it a few times a week, you really do lessen your risk of developing any bad side effects. Tip number 3 is to adjust the other parts of your skincare routine to accommodate the retinol. So if you're using any other actives in your skincare routine, maybe you're using an AHA or a BHA or a vitamin C, consider using these a little bit less as you're getting started with your retinol. You've got a few options here. You can either completely cut other actives out of your routine while your skin's getting used to retinol, or you can use them less frequently, or you can use lower strength ones instead. And this just helps to ensure that you're not doing too much to your skin at once, because using too many actives at the same time really is a recipe for disaster. And while you're trying to get your skin used to using a retinol, maybe using other actives at the same time can just set things off on the wrong path. So other things in your routine that you can change to accommodate the retinol is your cleanser, for example. Don't use cleansers that are too drying on the skin because retinol has dryness as a side effect. You don't want to be helping your skin dry out by using a cleanser that's really drying your skin out. So go for something that's more gentle on the skin and something that might be a little bit more hydrating as well. Really, you shouldn't be using a cleanser that's stripping your skin dry anyway, but if you are, consider changing it out before getting your retinol. And the last part of your skincare routine that you want to pay special attention to is your moisturizers. Moisturizers are already a really important part of your skincare routine, but even more so when you're using retinol. Because dryness is one of the side effects you can experience from using a retinol, using a really good moisturizer is a really important part of making sure you don't experience that dryness. If you have dry skin already, this is even more so important for you. Make sure you're using a moisturizer that really does the job. I do have a moisturizer video that I uploaded just a few weeks ago. I'll have it linked up here for you with moisturizer recommendations for all skin types. And if you have oily skin and you're finding retinol is starting to dry your skin out, you might need to change moisturizers. Go for something a little more creamy, something a little more occlusive. It doesn't have to be super heavy, it just needs to be something a little more than the lightweight gel cream that you might be used to. Tip number 4 is related to the amount of product you're going to be applying to the skin. You do not need to slather your face in retinol. Please, please, please do not do this. You might have heard people recommending a pea-sized amount online, and this is spot on. This is exactly how much retinol you want to be applying. I've got a little video I'm going to put up here for you that shows what a pea-sized amount of retinol looks like, and it might not seem like enough, but it is. Somehow it is more than enough product for the entire face. You just need to dot the product evenly across the skin and then spread it out, and that's it. Your retinol is applied and you haven't risked damaging your skin by applying too much. If you're using a retinol product that comes in a dropper bottle, then using a full dropper amount should be enough for the entire face. If you find that this is too much, then consider using just half a dropper. Using too much product is definitely a recipe for disaster, so please, please don't do this. Tip number 5 is the sandwich technique. If you've been researching retinol online, then I'm sure you've heard about this before. This basically just means sandwiching your retinol between 2 layers of moisturizer. So you've got your moisturizer, retinol, and then another layer of moisturizer. The main appeal behind this technique is for those of you with more sensitive skin, or if you're using a higher strength retinol and you want to ease your skin into it. By applying that initial layer of moisturizer and then the retinol on top of that, you're really slowing down the retinol's penetration into the skin. And by slowing down that penetration, you're reducing your risk of developing any dryness or irritation from that higher strength retinol. Or if you have sensitive skin and your skin doesn't tolerate retinol very well, this is a really great way that you can incorporate retinol into your routine without developing any of these side effects. I do a version of this sandwich method. I don't do moisturizer, retinol, moisturizer. I use a barrier serum or hydrating serum, then my retinol, and then a moisturizer. My go-to serum before applying retinol is NIOD's Modulating Glucosides. This is a great barrier repair serum and a barrier strengthening serum as well. So I just like to apply something like that or something quite hydrating before applying the retinol, just to slow down the release of the retinol into the skin and just to avoid getting any of those side effects. I do have dry skin just naturally, so I'm very cautious to make sure that I don't dry my skin out by using retinol consistently. Tip number 6 is to protect the sensitive areas of your face before applying retinol. So just before applying the retinol to your skin, you might want to take a little bit of a balm or a cream and apply it to those sensitive areas, whether that's around the lips, around the eyelids, and into the folds around the nose as well. These are just areas of the face where product can kind of just travel to eventually, and they can get really sensitive. So maybe not everyone has to do this, but if you are someone that's especially prone to sensitivity in these areas, take a little bit of Vaseline, take a little bit of balm, put it in those areas, put it around the eyelids just before applying your retinol, and that way you formed a barrier. So the retinol is going to travel all around your face throughout the night, but it's not going to go into those areas because you've blocked it off basically. So that's just a bit of a bonus tip for those of you that might be a little bit more prone to irritation than others. And the last and final tip is not really a tip, it's more of just a rule. And this is to make sure you're applying your sunscreen every single day. I know it can be a little bit annoying to hear everyone from every possible angle telling you to apply sunscreen every single day, but this is especially important if you're going to be using a retinol consistently. I would even go as far as to say, if you are still not in the habit of using a sunscreen every day, don't start with retinol. Work on your sunscreen habit first. Make sure it's something you are very comfortable applying every single day, and then you can start looking into incorporating retinol into your routine. You do not want to be using a retinol if you're not using sunscreen every single day. It's just not going to go well. So please make sure you're wearing your sunscreen every single day if you're going to be using retinoids in your skincare routine. If you need sunscreen recommendations, I have an entire playlist that's made just for you. Feel free to go through that playlist to help you find your ideal sunscreen to wear every single day. And that's basically it. Those are all my tips for getting started with retinol and incorporating it into your skincare routine. By following these tips, you really help to reduce your risk of experiencing any of the side effects, whether that's the purge, irritation, dryness, any of that. Follow these tips and you shouldn't experience any of these. Let me know in the comments down below if you're currently using a retinol or if you're interested in starting to use a retinol. If you're using a retinol, I'd love to know which one you're using in the comments below. So make sure you let me know. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. And make sure to subscribe if you still haven't hit that subscribe button. Don't go anywhere. Check out last week's video where I go through my favorite mineral sunscreens, and I'll see you in the next one.